A major shift may be unfolding inside the Western military alliance. As Washington signals plans to reduce the number of American forces available to NATO during future crises, alarm bells are ringing across Europe's defense establishment. For decades, Europe relied on American military muscle. Now the continent is being forced to rethink its own battlefield readiness. Take a look at our next report.
Behind closed doors, the questions are growing sharper. How many American troops could leave Europe? How quickly could NATO respond during a future crisis? And is Europe prepared if Washington scales back military commitments further? The US is reportedly preparing plans to shrink the forces it would place under NATO command during emergencies and major military confrontations. The US is pulling out 5,000 troops from Germany. This came after a spat between President Donald Trump and Chancellor Friedrich Merz over the war in Iran.
What we're basically saying is, as the European pillar of the alliance gets stronger, this allows the U.S. to reduce its presence in Europe and limit itself to providing only those critical capabilities that allies cannot yet provide. And so we should expect there to be a redeployment of U.S. forces over time as allies build their capacity.
Poland is also alarmed by reports that Pentagon has cancelled plans to deploy 4,000 US troops in the country. US tried to reassure Poles that this is not the case. The proposal has left European allies on tenterhooks. For decades, American troops form the backbone of NATO's rapid military response capability across Europe. US soldiers, air power, logistics, networks and missile defense systems have long served as the alliance's most powerful conventional deterrent. Now uncertainty is spreading through European capitals. The US currently has around 76,000 troops across NATO territory, the largest volume since the Cold War. European governments are now accelerating defense spending, expanding weapons production, and strengthening regional military coordination. NATO's top leaders are insisting that any future US troops withdrawal would not undermine Europe's collective defense structure.
NATO is and will always be a transatlantic alliance. Part of keeping this alliance strong involves shifting responsibilities, moving away from unhealthy over-reliance on one ally to a fairer sharing of the responsibility for our collective security.
Despite the public statements about transatlantic unity, Europe is uneasy about Washington's broader strategic intentions. Increasingly, NATO allies are realizing they can no longer depend on the US for their security and will have to shoulder far greater responsibility themselves. But do they have the men, the machines and the money to do so? Bureau Report, WION World is One.